Good morning and welcome back to the Daily Brief, your number one source for news updates in Southeast Asia. First up, the town mayor was killed in gunfire during his campaign event in Cagayan. Next, oil prices are scheduled to hike marking April's end. And lastly, a man in Thailand shoots a woman over debts in front of her son, and later takes a hostage. Here is a quick look at today's local exchange rates, followed by the weather for the Philippines, Thailand, Singapore, Vietnam, and Malaysia. A tragic act of violence shook the municipality of Rizal, Cagayan, on Wednesday night as Mayor Joel Ruma was fatally shot during a campaign gathering. 2 others were critically injured in the incident, which took place at the barangay hall where Ruma and his team were meeting with local supporters. According to a report released Thursday by the Police Regional Office 2, unidentified gunmen opened fire during a photo session involving Ruma, his fellow candidates, and supporters. The shots caused panic and chaos, leaving the mayor and 2 others wounded. Ruma, along with his aide Merson Abiguabel and a civilian identified as Melanie Talay, was rushed to the Tuo District Hospital. The mayor was declared dead on arrival. Abiguabel and Talay remain in critical condition as of Thursday afternoon. Details about the assailants remain unclear. Initial investigations have not yet confirmed how many shooters were involved. However, Cagayan Provincial Police spokesperson Captain Sheila Joy Fronda stated that the shots were believed to have come from a mountainous area some distance away from the campaign site. It appears the gunfire was directed from a far-off elevated location, which made it difficult to determine the exact number or position of the shooters, Fronda said. The police have yet to identify suspects or determine a motive behind the attack. Authorities are looking into multiple angles, including the possibility that the attack was politically motivated, given that Ruma was actively campaigning at the time of the incident. The Commission on Elections, COMELEC, has yet to issue a statement on the attack, but local officials and civil society groups have begun calling for increased security measures, especially in politically sensitive areas ahead of the upcoming elections. Ruma was serving his term as mayor and was reportedly seeking re-election. Known for his grassroots approach to governance, he had a significant following in his hometown. As investigations continue, local residents remain on edge, shocked by the brazen nature of the attack. Law enforcement agencies have vowed to pursue all leads and ensure that justice is served. "This is not just an attack on one person, but on our democratic process," said one local official who requested anonymity. "We hope the perpetrators will be brought to justice swiftly." Motorists and consumers are bracing for another increase in fuel prices as oil companies are expected to implement price hikes before the end of April, according to the Department of Energy, DOE. The DOE's Oil Industry Management Bureau announced Friday that adjustments are likely to take effect on Monday, April 29, driven by rising global supply concerns, particularly following fresh U.S. sanctions targeting Iran's oil export network. According to Assistant Director 3 Rodela Romero, the expected fuel price adjustments for next week are as follows. Gasoline, 0.80 Cuban pesos to 1.40 Cuban pesos per liter increase. Diesel, 0.40 Cuban pesos to 1 Cuban peso per liter increase. Kerosene, 0.50 Cuban pesos to 0.70 Cuban pesos per liter increase. Geopolitical tensions drive oil volatility. The anticipated hike comes in the wake of new U.S. sanctions imposed on Syed Asadullah Imamjama, a prominent figure in Iran's liquefied petroleum gas (LPG) trade and his corporate network. The U.S. Treasury Department accused Imamjama of facilitating the export of hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Iranian crude oil and LPG, despite ongoing international sanctions. Imamjama and his network sought to export thousands of shipments of LPG, including from the United States, to evade U.S. sanctions and generate revenue for Iran, said U.S. Secretary of the Treasury Scott Bessent in a statement earlier this week. These actions have heightened tensions in the global oil market, further tightening supply and contributing to price instability. U.S. inventory drop adds to pressure. In addition to geopolitical factors, the DOE noted that lower oil stockpiles in the United States are also playing a role in pushing up prices. The decline in U.S. inventory signals rising demand, which places upward pressure on global oil prices. With international oil benchmarks responding to both geopolitical developments and domestic consumption patterns in key markets, Filipino consumers are once again caught in the ripple effects of global energy shifts. Preparing for the hike. Energy officials advise motorists and businesses reliant on fuel to prepare for the upcoming adjustments and consider fuel conservation measures to soften the impact of rising prices. Transport groups and logistics providers have also expressed concern over the frequency of price hikes in recent months, calling for closer government monitoring and longer-term solutions to stabilize fuel costs. As April draws to a close, the DOE assures the public that it continues to monitor the global energy market and will release further advisories as needed. A tragic shooting unfolded in Nakhon Pathom, Thailand, when a man dressed as a food delivery rider shot and killed a woman in front of her 12-year-old son over an alleged debt. The incident escalated into a hostage crisis later that same day. According to police, the suspect, identified as 28-year-old Naiwat Changongon, also known as Champ, initially confronted the victim, a 42-year-old smoothie vendor, at a rental home in Wing District on the morning of April 24. He shot her twice, once in the chest and once in the head, before fleeing the scene on a blue Honda PCX motorcycle with no license plate. Later that morning, authorities were called to a second location in Sam Fran District, where Naiwat had taken a noodle vendor hostage. Investigators say he had been obsessed with the woman, despite her being in a relationship. He brought her to a second-floor apartment and barricaded himself inside. Police surrounded the area, and a standoff ensued. After hours of failed negotiations, officers brought in Naiwat's mother and aunt to help. Their emotional pleas convinced him to surrender peacefully around 11:30 a.m. Police confirmed that the weapon and motorcycle used in the standoff matched those from the earlier shooting. They believe the killing stemmed from a personal debt, while the hostage situation was motivated by unreciprocated romantic feelings. Naiwat now faces multiple charges, including premeditated murder, illegal possession of a firearm, abduction, unlawful detention. Authorities are continuing their investigation and gathering witness statements. Thank you for watching the Daily Brief. If you enjoyed this video, please share and subscribe so you won't miss out on any future updates. Please take care and we